just wanted to stop by and just say thank you, because we have in this audience some people who are doing outstanding work on behalf of criminal justice reform. I want to thank Angie for the introduction. I want to recognize a couple of members of Congress who are here who have been great champions of this. Congresswoman Frederica Wilson from the great state of Florida. Great champion of this issue. He is working tirelessly in the Senate to advance some important legislation. Senator Cory Booker of New Jersey. We also have former Attorney General and buddy of mine, Eric Holder. Current Attorney General, I think, had to leave a little bit earlier, but obviously is deeply involved in these efforts. I want to thank Shane Smith and everybody at Vice for the great work and efforts that they've made in the production of what you're going to be seeing today. And then there's a guy named Al Sharpton. America spends $80 billion a year keeping folks locked up. We represent 5% of the world's population, 25% of its inmates. That's not an indicator that we want to be the leader. Keep in mind that I'm the father of 2 kids, and I care about them being safe. And I'm fiercely protective of them. And I think it is important for all of us to recognize that in too many communities, crime destroys lives and hope and opportunity, and we cannot diminish the impact of crime. And I think everybody here recognizes that we have to have a criminal justice system that is effective and that prosecutes individuals in a fair way to ensure that we as a society are able to maintain peace and order and security. That's not something that anybody here would argue against. But what we also know is that for too many individuals, particularly nonviolent offenders caught up in an environment in which drugs are pervasive and opportunity is lacking, the punishment does not fit the crime. Too often, prosecutions, arrests are not being applied in a way that reflects our belief in equality under the law. And the effects of this mass incarceration ripple through families and communities, especially communities of color, in ways that are not just a problem of the here and now, but continue across generations. So as a society, we have to acknowledge that there is something wrong when we are locking up this many folks with this kind of frequency, concentrated in a handful of communities in cities and towns and counties across this country. That's why in July I visited El Reno Federal Penitentiary in Oklahoma. The first president apparently to have ever visited a prison. Because the people in these prisons are deserving of our attention. They're human beings with hopes and dreams who in many cases have made profound mistakes, but are American citizens nonetheless. It was interesting during that visit. We had a chance to meet with corrections officers, wardens, and those who manage this system. They have an extremely difficult and often dangerous job, and we expressed our appreciation for what they do. But they also recognized that we could be doing better in how we administer justice. I met with a group of prisoners, and what was striking was the degree to which so many of these young people, many of them were young, there were some older ones who were there, often because they had been serving time for mistakes they'd made during their youth. And I said at the time, I think you may hear me say it in this program, that they weren't so different from me. I made mistakes when I was young. I didn't always follow a straight path. The primary difference between me and them was I had more of a cushion. I had second chances. In some cases I had resources, or I was in an environment in which when I made a mistake as a teen, that I could recover from. And these young people didn't have any margin for error. And that